Thought you was gonna watch it.
Herself came out to LA, came to the fight, but Crawford just walked by and said, "I thought you weren't gonna watch it, but clearly your mind has changed."
Yeah, I came here to support
Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez held their first mini press conference ahead of their September fight. But Jaron Ennis stole the spotlight after attacking and hitting Crawford. Ennis feels deeply cheated, questioning why Crawford avoided him for years and is now moving forward to fight Canelo Alvarez.
You gotta lean more towards Canelo. So like I said before, he been putting big guys out and down. Canelo not even really a 68 pounder. He probably really should be at 60 maybe. He been hurting these guys. I think he dropping these guys and things like that. So them guys be way bigger than him come fight night. I know that for sure.
He was at the conference alongside Shakur Stevenson and Keyshawn Davis. And when it was time for Terence Crawford to walk onto the stage, Boots shoved him and pushed him off. Apparently, Jaron Ennis has been planning to move up to the super welterweight, or middleweight division in order to secure a fight with Crawford by any means necessary, following several failed attempts to face him while they were both in the welterweight division. The first press conference for the fight was held in Las Vegas, where Crawford and Canelo answered a few questions in front of a small audience before heading to the media room for photos and promotional work. When asked about Ennis's actions, Terence Crawford responded, "That's stupid. I never saw that coming. He should have faced me and not fled. I have no words for him. He should come for a street fight and let me break his neck. He's too small for me to get in the ring with." Jaron Ennis long pursued a fight with Terence Crawford, but will now have to watch in frustration as his rival faces Canelo Alvarez instead. Ennis is a precocious talent and the current IBF welterweight champion, having risen to prominence after Crawford became the undisputed champion at 147 by defeating Errol Spence in July 2023.
He dropping those guys like that. So I don't know. It's gonna be a great fight. The fans want to see it. So so be it. I think Crawford should take a warm-up fight. At like 60 or like at least at 60 to get his body, to fill into somebody a little bit bigger, and things like that. I know when you go up in weight, you gotta develop that power and not develop the power, but like that muscle on and be heavy and things like that. So he might not want to take a fight because he's trying to build up right now. But I think he should just to stay sharp. And
with
that way
Butt's
he
last
don't
fight, a world title victory at 154 lbs over Israel Madrimov, it appears the 37-year-old has left the welterweight division behind for good. Crawford has long aimed to move up another weight class to challenge undisputed super middleweight champion Canelo Alvarez, and that fight was officially confirmed this past week for September. Speaking to YSM Sports Media, Ennis initially didn't pick a winner, giving both Crawford and Canelo an equal chance of victory, saying, "It's a good fight, a 50-50 fight, and I guess it's a fight everybody wants to see."
What's your thoughts on that fight?
It's a good fight, 50-50 fight, and I guess it's a fight that everybody wants to see, so it's a good fight.
Then asked about the challenge Crawford faces by moving up in weight, and he responded, "It's going to be a little difficult. He's going to have to put on an extra 14 pounds, so he could be slower. You've got to add more weight, and gain more muscle, so it's harder. But we'll see on fight night." When asked what Crawford would need to do to win, having already acknowledged it would be a tough night for Bud, he said, "Be smart. Take his time. Box and move. Don't sit there and let him drop bombs on him." Finally, he offered a game plan for how Canelo could secure the win.
He only had one fight at 54, so like 147, 154, 158 pounds.
You said how difficult is it?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a little difficult because we don't have to put on like an extra 14 pounds, so he might be a little slower. Or who knows, he could be faster. I don't know. Like you gotta add more weight and gain more muscle and stuff like that. Moving up the weight and things like that, so it's a little harder. But I don't know. We'll see on fight night how he'll look.
I feel like Canelo will be pressing, working behind the jab, catching Crawford as he tries to pull out or pull back, cutting off the ring, things like that. He's going to have to bully the smaller guy and not let him dictate anything. Show It's your weight class, said Ennis, one of boxing's most exciting rising stars after his recent win over Stanionis last month. Amid the hype surrounding the Canelo vs. Crawford showdown, Ennis found time to weigh in, and he's not handing out blind endorsements. In a recent interview with Fight Hub TV, he raised a red flag about Crawford jumping up 2 full weight classes, saying, "I think Crawford should take a warm-up fight at 160 just to feel what it's like against a bigger guy."
What does Terence Crawford have to do to be successful in that fight?
Be smart. Take his time. Boxing move. Yeah, don't sit there and let him try to bomb on him.
What about Canelo Alvarez?
I feel like White is going to press him, the pressing. Everything behind the stick, catching, trying to pull back,
Boots didn't hold back when discussing what Crawford is up against, noting that Canelo's been at that weight for a while. He's been pinning big guys out. He pointed out that Crawford is the smaller man, while Canelo has been stopping opponents who enter the ring at around 200 pounds on fight night. The reality is that while Alvarez may not be a natural super middleweight either, he's consistently hurt and finished fighters much bigger than Crawford, a fact not lost on those who truly understand the sport.
Is it one of those situations where you try to punch on like the smaller man's arms?
You want to bully him. You want to bully the smaller guy. Don't let him dictate nothing. Show him that's your weight class.
Crawford has revealed that he currently weighs well above the 168 lb super middleweight limit, coming in at 186 lbs, despite having previously won titles as low as lightweight at 135 lbs. However, Jaron Ennis, perhaps out of envy, has predicted a loss for Crawford regardless. While Ennis and many other boxing professionals believe the Mexican star will come out on top, Ennis's father, Ennis, has offered a surprising take on the upcoming showdown, reflecting on Alvarez's most recent performance, a unanimous decision win over William Skull on May 3rd in what was considered a lackluster bout. Noted that Canelo tends to get frustrated when an opponent uses too much movement. Speaking to YSM Sports Media, he explained how this could play into Crawford's strength.
Yeah, you brought up, and this just a follow-up on here, you brought up one main point that a lot of fans have been bringing up. It was like, what happens when Canelo hits him? Because he's been hurting, like you mentioned, bigger guys.
Yeah.
Crawford hasn't been fighting guys that are 200 pounds, 190 pounds on fight night.
Yeah, right. I think Crawford should take a warm-up fight, at like 60, or like at least at 60, just to get his body.
It's frustrated if he can't touch you, you know what I mean? Ennis said. When asked about Terence Crawford's chances against Canelo Alvarez, he replied, "Great chance because Terence can box, Terence can move, Terence can punch. Terence isn't going to be like Skull. Terence will fight you. He's Terence from the streets, man. He knows what to do when it comes down to it. I think he's going to end up frustrating Canelo." He added that the right way to fight Alvarez is to box him and hit him when he's set, bringing him to the center of the ring. When Alvarez lets his guard down, it's possible to knock him out, he said. "I think Terence is going to do what he's going to do. Terence might stop him."
Terence Crawford and Canelo was a 50-50 fight. You told me Terence Crawford had a chance.
Right. Me,
I was leaning towards Canelo because of the size.
right.
I want to apologize. Because after watching that fight, I see what you were talking about.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that movement, all shit, everybody, man. And with Canelo, he gets frustrated. He just walking to you and all that. He can't touch you. You know what I mean? That's it. You know what I mean?
Now, did watching that make you feel
It was
like...
also noted that Canelo Alvarez has a granite chin, and although he hasn't been punched cleanly by Terence Crawford, Alvarez has faced some of the best punchers in the sport. The key, Ennis said, is that the punch has to be perfectly placed. He added that not many of Canelo's opponents have targeted his body, which Crawford might do. This strategy could force Alvarez to lower his guard, giving Crawford the chance to land a knockout punch to the head. Meanwhile, talks around a potential Jaron Ennis versus Teofimo Lopez fight have been in the spotlight recently, with Eddie Hearn confirming to FightHype.com that negotiations are ongoing. However, these talks have reportedly been complicated, with Lopez accusing Ennis of dodging the fight.
Back in the day, right now, this is the day. Right now, this is supposed to do and improve Canelo.
Yeah. I think, like I said, Terence got a great chance to beat him, man. You know what I mean? Terence can box. Terence can move, Terence can punch. You know what I mean? Terence ain't gonna be doing like Skull. Terence gonna punch you. You know what I mean? Terence from the street, man. You know what I mean? You know what to do. You know what I mean? When it comes down to it, I think he's gonna wind up frustrating you know what I mean?
In a message directed at Jaron Ennis and his father Bozy, Teofimo Lopez didn't hold back. Boots, if you're on here and your father's on here, Bozy, listen to me, you bozos. How do you claim to be from Philly and then avoid fighting? The best man? Y'all are putting Philly down, and Philly just won. Shout out to the Philadelphia Eagles for winning the chip. Come on, bro, I don't think you're really from Philly. Any questions? Yeah, no Boots fight then. No Boots fight, Lopez added. The idea of Lopez moving up to welterweight has been discussed before, with Turki Alalshik speaking positively about the potential matchup. Meanwhile, Ennis has expressed his desire to collect the remaining welterweight titles currently held by Mario Barrios and Brian Castano.
You beat Boots by unanimous decision. Yeah, I'm a dog. Sure, I'm a dog that boy. They never faced a fighter like me. No more backflips, protect your knees.
In a message to
Fight with
Jaron,
Barrios is off the table as he prepares to face 46-year-old Manny Pacquiao on July 19th. Meanwhile, tensions continue to simmer between Team Ennis and Team Norman, following the collapse of earlier negotiations. A showdown between Teofimo Lopez and Jaron Ennis would be an intriguing contest, with both fighters showcasing their skills in their most recent bouts. Ennis dazzled in his win over Stanionis, displaying excellent footwork, precise punch placement, and fight-ending power, qualities he has shown in abundance throughout his career.
You're on here, and your phone's on here, Bozy. Listen to me. You bozo. How you claim yourself from Philly and you don't want to fight that match? Man, y'all putting Philly down and Philly just won. Shout out to Philadelphia Eagles for winning the chip. Come on, bro. I don't think you from Philly. Any questions? Yeah, no Boots fight then. No Boots fight. He said no.
Lopez has shown he rises to the occasion in bigger fights, as evidenced by his impressive wins over Vasyl Lomachenko and Josh Taylor. In his most recent victory against Arnold Barboza Jr., he once again displayed the sharpness and precision that had been missing in some of his earlier performances. It's no secret that Ennis struggles to make the 147 lb limit, and there was talk of him moving up to junior middleweight before his bout with Stanionis. However, Ennis chose to stay at welterweight to pursue adding more belts to his collection. After successfully unifying the division against Stanionis, it now seems unlikely he will add a third 147 lb title anytime soon.
Teofimo Lopez has mentioned that a potential fight with you and him maybe down the road. I think Turkey's even said that. Just overall, your thoughts on that, Jaron?
Like I said before, I'm not worried about nobody else outside of Stanionis. I'm locked in on him. I'm just like, I'm zoned in on Stanionis. I'm here to collect belts at 147 and show out. And that's what I'm going to do.
World Boxing Organization champion Brian Castano is set to face Jin Sasaki, while Mario Barrios will take on 46-year-old Manny Pacquiao. There have been talks about Jaron Ennis facing WBO junior welterweight champion Teofimo Lopez, but Eddie Hearn questions how wise it would be for Ennis to try making the 147 lb limit again for such a fight. I think the big question is whether Boots stays at 147, if I'm honest, Hearn told Boxing Scene. The Stanionis performance was great, but the medical stats weren't as strong. It's difficult because I think Boots feels he'll perform much better up at 154. The reason he wanted to stay at 147 originally was to unify the division, and now he's done that. It's a tough decision. We like the Teofimo Lopez fight, but if he stays at 147, he'll fight Teofimo. If not, you'll see him move to 154. With Brian Castano's fight coming up in July in Japan, and Barrios facing Pacquiao, the unifications aren't...
I figured it being so close to the fight too as well. You're kind of like tunnel vision when it comes to your opponent. And the only reason why I ask is because, Turkey had mentioned that if Teo gets past Barboza, we could see a fight with you, Teofimo. I know Top Rank try to make that fight as well. So I was just curious now, what do you think of Teofimo as a fighter?
He's a good fighter. Good fighter. That's about it.
Boots is a bit of a one-off, really, he continued. I'd say he's not just money motivated, of course he is, But he's all about legacy and is willing to push his body to make 147 for the unification. So the Teofimo fight is a little different, but it's a big fight, and we'll have to make a decision soon. Ennis hired a nutritionist and an aide to help him make weight more efficiently for his bout with Stanionis. On fight night, Ennis looked huge, much bigger than Stanionis, and dominated the fight. However, Hearn revealed that making weight was still a struggle. It was probably not as bad as the Karen Chukazian fight, but a lot of people pointed out during the week how tight he looked at the weight, he said. It wasn't like he was dead on the scales for Stanionis, not at all. But it's a massive effort to keep bringing himself down to 147 repeatedly. Also, please subscribe to my channel for more updates.